Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Art Center's new series, World Art, where each class we will travel to a different part of the world and we'll learn about the art they make there. Sometimes it's the architecture, sometimes it's the art. Today's adventure takes us to the country of Panama, where we're going to learn about a type of clothing that the indigenous people of Panama make called a mola. Let's take a look at what a mola looks like. Here is the tiny little country of Panama. You can see that it's right in between South America and North America. And maybe you've heard of the Panama Canal. Panama Canal cuts through there so that goods and services can travel from one ocean to the next much easier. Let's look at our molas. Now, a lot of times the imagery that we see in them are island imagery because they got the ocean on both sides. The water is big in this culture. I want you to see how all of the area is got pattern in it. There's no empty spaces. I'm going to talk to you about how they create these and what the purpose is as we move on. Let's go down to our next one here, a little kitty kitty. So you can see there's usually a lot of black. Black is very predominant in molas and also embroidery, and I'll tell you how they make them later. But you can see how the whole thing is full. There's no empty spaces. That's part of it, this pattern everywhere. Look at the polka dots on his claws. Look how the background is filled with flowers and just lines. So the key to this is having it full. Let's go down to our sea turtle here. Again, you can see the pattern on his shell, and that pattern even has dots in it. And then all around our sea turtle are different symbols of the ocean, like fish and the seahorse, and the whole thing is filled up. Let's look at our bird here next. This is one of those fancy parrot kind of birds that we find in island nations or in nations that are close to the water. You can see how, again, it is all filled with different patterns and designs. Now a mola, here's an example of how the people in Panama wear them. A mola is like a big fat belt. Here we call them cummerbunds, and they go with a tuxedo. Now these are very important to the people of Panama. The women take great pride in making these. They can take up to 6 months to make some of them. And they also, the imagery they use on them can indicate what tribe they come from. So socially they're very significant. I'm really lucky. I have an example to show you of a real mola. Now, the way they create this is a process called reverse applique. They take several layers of fabric and put them on top of each other. And do you see this blue here? The way they got that blue is by cutting this away to reveal the blue underneath. And under the blue, there might be yellow. So if they want to show a yellow one, they have to cut through this color and the blue to get to the yellow. And then they stitch all the way around the rough edges. So when you look at the amount of detail, every one of these colors is a different layer of fabric. So I want you to see how this whole thing is just filled with pattern, filled with color. And every single one of these is a different color that they had to use their scissors and snip through and then embroider back again. Now, here's an example of what we're going to be doing today. I went with a fish. I thought fish are beautiful. Fish are easy for a lot of kids to draw. And I want you to see how there is no place for your eye to rest in this drawing, is there? Everywhere there is pattern, everywhere. Even around the outside edges. If I knew I had a triangular shaped empty space, I drew a triangle. And these are called concentric circles. When you have the outline of my fish, and then I drew a line that went all the way around them. And then I drew another line that went all the way around them. And then I drew my last line that went all the way around them. These are called concentric circles. They're used a lot in the design of molas. So you can see he's all patterned out. And I'm going to show you an easy way how to do a fish. So let's see the easiest way to do a fish. Remember, basic shapes. So the first basic shape we need is our oval. This is for the body of the fish. The second basic shape we need is the tail fin. Kind of looks like a triangle, would you agree? So we start with an oval, we add our tail fin, and now I'm going to add my top fin and my bottom fin. Those are just jaggy lines, you see? And then in the last picture, all I've done is I've added my eye and my gills, and presto, I got a fish. So it's very easy to draw a fish. Now, shall we start our Mola? All right, so remember what we said about how to draw a fish. And no tiny fish, okay? Really big fish. So I'm going to start with a really big oval. See how big that oval is? It's not a tiny oval, it's a big oval. And remember what I said next? I said add a triangle onto the back for the tail fin. There we have our tail fin. Let's make it darker so you guys can see. Here's my oval. And then we go to our tail fin. La 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 la. Here we go. Now we need the top fin. Remember how it was just a jagged line? And the bottom fin, just a jagged line. We need an eyeball. And we need our gills. All right. So now we have to start filling this guy up with shapes. So I'm going to draw a little line here. And then another line here. But I just remembered before I do that, I want to put in my concentric circles. So I'm going to start at the top. And I'm just going to trace all around my fishy. Go all the way around here, come up, go back down, and I'm just drawing this line that goes all the way around. Now I'm going to draw another one. So I'm taking it and I'm drawing all the way around my fish. And you can see that some of the details we start to lose with each layer that I go around. All right, there we go. Okay, now I can start doing my inside lines. So I'm going to put a couple lines here. And now I'm just going to put these big triangles here. But I want them to kind of be the same size. And then I can go back in and I can put another triangle in there. So it's a triangle inside of a triangle. I'm going to come around my eye here. I'm going to put another triangle inside of that. I can come up here with my triangles, here with another triangle, put my little tiny triangles inside of that. So now maybe I want to get circles, and I can put my circles in here, and maybe they get bigger as they come up to the front, and then I can put even tinier circles inside of there. So, and here's his eyeball, of course, and there's the outside of his eyeball. Now I'm going to go back here, and now I can make like big stripes, big fat stripes. And I'm going to put another big fat stripe inside there. I'm using the shape of the fish to kind of tell me what types of shapes I can do. So like on the tail fin, I can go and I can put triangles in here because the tail fin is like a triangle. And then I can put my other triangle in here. And then I'm going to look up to my tail fin and I can see the shape that I've kind of been handed. Or my top fin. I've kind of been handed this shape. So I'm going to go with that shape. And put another one on the inside. So you get this, we're going to fill this whole thing up. And now I have all this other space here. And because I'm kind of like lopsided on this side, I'm going to give myself some fishy bubbles that go up here. Just so it kind of evens out the composition of the paper. Now I have these big spaces here. So I'm going to put this triangle in here. See how that kind of fills up that space? And now I'm just going to keep making more and more triangles inside of my triangle. I look up here to this space, kind of got a triangle going on up here. So I put another triangle up there, put some more triangles on the inside. Now this area here is a little bigger. It doesn't really have a shape. It's called an organic shape. I'm going to do it kind of like that. So now I'm just going to put more of this kind of peculiar shape, and we're just going to keep putting more inside and more inside. I've got this here, and I'm going to use these bubbles to kind of give me a cool shape. So I'm going to go like this and around. Now I'm going to put my inside lines in. They kind of reflect the shape of the bubble in a way. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm doing my little reflecting the shape of my bubble. Come up this way for my triangle, and then I can put some more inside lines, concentric lines. You can see how the shape changes a little bit. And we got this one spot here, so let's just put a bubble in there. All right, and then we would fill up the rest of our fish. So you can see it can be a little time consuming, but I'm working on a big sheet of paper. You don't have to work on a piece of paper that big if you don't want to. Color. Well now, most molas are made with black fabric as the top color. But it would be better if you did it on black paper, but I'm not making any assumptions you all got black paper. So I took an oil pastel and I did my line drawing in oil pastel. Now, oil pastel on black paper looks really great. You just have to stay away from your darker colors, like the dark blues don't show so well. Even the red doesn't show so well. But on white paper, you can see everything shows. So I just did the same thing I did with my line drawing, only this time I did it with different color. I wanted my fish to look like he was in water, and I wanted a contrast between the blue background and the cool colors on the warm colors that are on my fish, so that my background was different than my fish. So this is where you can go with this if you'd like. Now, I hope you get a chance to go to Panama, and I enjoyed our little side trip to Panama today, and we're learning about Panamanian molas. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll go to a new country next time I see you and learn about their art too. Thank you.